Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Shifty's 49ers Talk. In this video, we're going to break down the 49ers loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs win 44-23, handedly beat the 49ers. There's a lot of different things that I want to talk about, so let's jump right in. How I want to structure this video is I want to talk about the 49ers offense and then the defense, and we'll talk a little bit about the special teams too. So offensively, what were my takeaways from this game? Number one, Christian McCaffrey looks really good in a 49ers uniform, really was able to run the ball well. Excellent fit for this scheme, had a couple of nice catches too. I think moving forward, he's going to be a huge part of this offense, and I'm really excited to see what Kyle Shanahan can do with him. Talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. So Jimmy Garoppolo had some nice moments in this game. I thought he was moving the ball very well. But with Garoppolo, you know you got to take the good with the bad. That interception right before halftime, absolutely inexcusable. Even if you take the sack right there, you kick a field goal, you go up before halftime, that would be a huge boost to the 49ers. Outside of that, though, I really do like what the offense was able to do moving the football. Ultimately ended with 444 yards of offense. We were able to pass the ball pretty effectively. Kittle had a really nice game. Great touchdown grab by George Kittle on National Tight Ends Day. Ayuk, I thought, had a pretty solid game. Jeff Wilson Jr. ran the ball really well, too. It just happens that really self-inflicted wounds, and in the worst ways. Of course, the Jimmy Garoppolo interception, multiple holding calls. Some of the times we were actually able to overcome them, which was really impressive, but Mike McGlinchey getting beat all day, Trent Williams getting beat for the safety. I thought, just the offensive line in general had some really nice moments, but then just had some stinkers. Chalk that up maybe to the offensive line, and I think you have to. But also credit Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs defense. They called some really well-timed blitzes that messed with the 49ers offense. Look, I know Jimmy Garoppolo is who he is, and that interception was just god-awful. But overall, I think the Niners offense actually played well enough to give us an opportunity to win the game. That's all you can really ask. And I do think moving forward, and let's be real, I think a lot of us expected the 49ers to lose this game. I certainly did. I had us losing this game 31-21. The offense looked a little bit better than I thought it would be, and I really do think that Christian McCaffrey is going to be a huge bonus for this offense moving forward. Let's now move on to the defense. And outside of the very first possession of the game, which was great because Tashawn Gibson Sr. gets right in there, the ball flips up, Hufanga interception, we're feeling really good about the defense. Niners then are able to score a touchdown, we go up 10-0. After that, the defense couldn't do a damn thing. The defense seemingly gave up. They seemingly didn't play with heart, with intensity, with aggressiveness. Really disappointing to see. And when I talk about the defense, that's the word that really just comes to mind. It's just disappointing. We have Nick Bosa out there. Mooney Ward is out there. Jimmy Ward is out there. We have most of our guys out there. And they just couldn't get any stops. Kansas City seemingly moving with absolute ease up and down the field all game long. We gave up 529 yards. Outside of that interception, we didn't do anything. We had defensive penalties. Bosa was offside on back-to-back plays. We couldn't get any stops. And we just didn't have any answers for what the Kansas City Chiefs were doing. Some misdirection plays, handoffs to Mecole Hardman. We just couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. And I think what's really affecting the 49ers is, look, the loss of Emmanuel Moseley, I think, does hurt us for sure, no question. But something bigger is really just, I think that our depth on the defensive line, A, is maybe not as good as we thought it was, but B, when missing Eric Armstead, missing Javon Kinlaw, huge losses for the 49ers. We're not really able to stuff the run anymore. Typically, the 49ers defense, why it was so successful is when you had Armstead, when you had Kinlaw out there on first down, the other team runs it, they pick up nothing, they maybe lose a yard, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's second and very long, now we got to change up our plan. Then that allows the 49ers edge rushers to get after the quarterback. Totally different story the last couple of weeks, simply because opposing offenses on first down, they're picking up 6 yards, 7 yards, and that opens up the entire playbook, quick passes, runs, screens, whatever the case may be. The defense hasn't had any answers, and really, now the defense, a lot of the question marks, and rightfully so throughout the first 6 games of the season, were the offense. Can the offense score enough? Blah, blah, blah. I think the offense in this game looked pretty darn good, with the exception of the awful throw. But now that my concerns are going right towards the defense. You know, let's say if we take out the safety, let's say if we take out the fumble return from Jeff Wilson Jr. against the Falcons, still, opposing offenses have put up over 60 points on us the last 2 games. And that's taking out 9 points that were caused by the offense. So one of those things where the defense couldn't get pressure on Mahomes. We didn't play aggressive around the line of scrimmage, and it was just a recipe for disaster. And clearly the Kansas City Chiefs are in a whole realm by themselves compared to the 49ers. Really, I have it Buffalo, Philadelphia, Chiefs, then there's a gap, and then there's some other teams. But the Niners right now, the way they're playing is way, way low. Something that's I'm gonna bring up, and there's nothing we can do about it now, but I think a huge piece of the defense that we're missing, and someone that we probably should have brought back, DJ Jones. He was incredibly disruptive in the run game, pretty solid pass rusher too, and of course we're missing Arik Armstead. And Armstead causes so many issues for offensive lines. We don't have him out there. DJ Jones is now in Denver. Javon Kinlaw, who knows when we'll ever see him again. So that's really hurting this defense because we rely on those run-stuffing defensive tackles. But the Niners, there's a lot of questions to answer. And next Sunday at the LA Rams, in a big divisional game, they're going to have to be able to answer those questions. Because if the Niners want to compete this season, keeping up with the really good division record is going to be a huge part of the Niners being able to reach the postseason. And I do think that we can still reach the postseason. Let's now talk about the 49ers special teams. And you know, it just continues to not be great. Robbie Gould kicking the ball was pretty good. He showed in this game he can kick the ball through the end zone. But the play that really just let me down, you know, was right after halftime. We kicked the ball away. They returned it to the 50-yard line. But Jawan Jennings, and the play had been over for a couple of seconds, then decides to push the player who's well out of bounds already, decides to push him down and give them another 15 yards. From halftime, the Chiefs set up on the 33-yard line of 49ers, and it was just pretty easy going from there on out. So honestly, when I look back at the plays, the 3 biggest plays, well, I'll say the 4 biggest plays to me. Number 1, of course, the Jimmy Garoppolo interception. That was brutal, terrible timing, and just a terrible throw. 3rd and 20. 3rd and 20. Jerick McKinnon. Easy screen pass. I think the defense actually read the play pretty well. Just couldn't make the tackle, couldn't get off their blocks. They gave up about 30 yards on the play. 3rd and 11. In the 4th quarter, there's about 14 minutes left in the game. The score is 28 Chiefs, 23 49ers. We're only down 5. It's 3rd and 11. We just scored a touchdown with George Kittle. We have a chance to cause a 3-and-out, get off the field. What happens? Mahomes throws it 50 yards to MVS. Charvarius Mooney-Ward, I don't know what kind of coverage he was playing there. Maybe he just got outran by MVS, which can happen. But that was a huge, huge play. And then last but not least, I think that play coming out of halftime really just deflated the entire team. Going into halftime, the Chiefs just missed a field goal. We could have been down 17-13. It's only 14-13. Thinking, hey, we got to stop. We got to score. We're winning. All of a sudden, they have the ball at the Niners' 33-yard line. So overall, here's the thing. I expected us to lose the game, but here's what I also expected. I expected the defense to be able to get some stops. I'm going to look at the stats very quickly. I don't even think that they punted the ball once. I don't believe that the Chiefs, I think they maybe punted it once. 1 punt, and that was at the end of the game. So defense, really poor. And that's what this team has been able to hang their hat on, is playing good defense. And it's, can the offense score enough points to get the win? But the defense, a lot of questions to be answered. We'll see how they do against the Rams. Of course, this defense has normally played the Rams pretty well. Then we have a bye week, and then maybe do we get a guy like Arik Armstead coming back from injury? Do we maybe look to the free agent market like an Ndamukong Suh? We'll see what happens. But really disappointing game, you know, just the way that it seemed like I'm just so disappointed in the defense. I really thought that the offense played pretty well and they ultimately had to get out of their game plan to try and keep up. But overall, I really have to say a lot of this loss goes on to the defense. And of course, it also goes on Jimmy Garoppolo with the awful interception in the red zone right before halftime, which you cannot do. Now, of course, look, guys, I'm pretty animated. It's right after the game. Really disappointed in how this game ended up going. But do drop your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to hear your thoughts on why the Niners lost this game. What can they do moving forward? Are there any moves to be made? What do we need to do coaching? A lot of different things the 49ers can answer for, but I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, guys, and also really thank you very much for all the attendance on the stream, all the new subscribers, all the likes. It really helps me out. It really means a lot to me too, so that's really awesome. And despite a really tough game to watch, that's something that's really made it a little bit brighter, just knowing that you guys are there for the support, so I really appreciate that. But again, like this video if you like the content, and subscribe to the channel if you do too. But I'm going to leave it there. You know, I'm going to say 2 things before I go. The butt counts. I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side.